Hello students, this is Dr. Gaurangi Bhatt here, your English teacher. Today I am going to discuss Deep Water by William Douglas, Flamingo textbook for class 12. Next slide. First of all, I would like to tell you about the author. William Douglas was an American jurist and politician who served as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. He spent 2 years in teaching high school in Yakima. He met Franklin D. Roosevelt at Yale and became an advisor and friend to the president. He retired in 1975 with a term lasting 36 years and remains the longest serving justice in the history of court. Next slide. Now, introduction. The story Deep Water has been taken from the author's autobiography of Men and Mountain. In this excerpt, he tells about his fear of water and how he conquered it by determination and willpower. Next slide. About the character. William Douglas, the narrator, he as a child got afraid of water because of 2 incidents in his childhood, but later on he overcame his fear with sheer determination, strong willpower. The whole story revolves around the narrator. Next slide. Now, I would like to tell you the summary of Antipathy to water at a young age. The narrator recalls the terrible incident that took place when he was 10 or 11 years old. He made up his mind to learn swimming at the YMCA pool in Yakima. His mother kept on warning him against it and reminding about the details of each drowning incident in the river. The narrator had an aversion to the water at the age of 3 or 4 years old when his father took him to the beach in California. The waves knocked him down and swept over him. He was breathless and was frightened by the strong, overpowering forces of the waves. Next slide. A mischief occurred. The unpleasant memories stirred his childhood fears. Somehow he went into the pool when no one else was there. Suddenly a big brochure of a boy of 18 years came. He picked up Douglas and threw him into the deep, and Douglas was frightened and somehow he tried to save his life. He came up and was suffocating. He was completely paralyzed. His lungs ached. He could only see water everywhere. Next slide. A sheet-stuck terror. Douglas was completely paralyzed underwater. His thought was frozen. He tried to hit the bottom and jumped with all his might. He searched for ladders, ropes, help, but all in vain. At last he came out of the pool lying on his stomach, vomiting. After several hours later, he walked home. Next slide. Overcoming the fear. The sense of overcoming a fear shows the ability of the author to face the difficulties in life and be determined to achieve his goals. Finally, Douglas decided to get a swimming instructor. He practiced 5 days a week, an hour each day. He had a rope attached to his belt, which with the help of a pulley pulled him back and forth across the pool. Icy horror and terror grabs him, but he tried to overcome it and face his fears. Next slide. He soon learned to exhale in water and inhale when he came up the surface. Slowly, he shed part of the panic. He gradually relaxed and finally, he could command his legs. When his lessons were over, he decided to get slide. Douglas self-test conquering the fear. After the training was finished, he tried to swim alone in New Hampshire. He swam 2 miles across the lake. In his terror returned when he was in the middle of the could only see bottomless water as he put his face. Next day, too, he swam across to the other shore and back. With joy, I had conquered my fear. Next slide. The experience. He quotes President Roosevelt saying, "All we have to fear is fear itself." The author's fear of death nearly killed him of actual death. Fear has more to do with mind. One must have the willpower to face it and never give up. If you overcome this fear, then and only then you will realize the value of life over death. Thank you.